Well, you said it, Chewie. Where did you dig up that old fossil?
It's a positive film. It has heroes and villains, and that it essentially is a fun movie to watch. It's been a long time since people have been able to go to the movies and see a sort of straightforward, wholesome, fun adventure.
Well, it's a fantasy. It's not science fiction so much as it is space fantasy. And it's about people. It's finally about people and not finally about science.
The story, when you actually put it into words, is only so much nonsense to hang a great visual experience onto. It's the stuff that fairy tales are made of.
Sort of boiling down religion into a very basic concept. The fact that there is some deity or some power or some force that sort of controls our destiny works for good and also works for evil.
Marvelous, healthy innocence. Great pace, wonderful to look at, full of guts, nothing unpleasant. I mean, people go bang bang and people fall over and are dead, but, no horrors. A sort of wonderful freshness about it, kind of like a wonderful fresh air.
It's got whatever you want it to be. It's pure entertainment. It's like a roller coaster ride, and it can be interpreted as long as you enjoy it, which is the intention.
Hi, welcome back to Generation Skywalker. I'm Jez, and I'm just going to be bringing today a new episode, a new sort of episode format for us, which is a mini interview. Reason being, I've seen something come up on social media, and I had to speak to this person. We're going to go straight to the episode now, and I'm sure you'll appreciate exactly why I needed to do this as a quick turnaround standalone, rather than turn it into our normal monthly show.
Hello there. Come here, my little friend. Don't be afraid.
So I am delighted to be joined today by Paul Jason, who I came across this post on the Imperial Commissary. It was Zia who tagged me in this, and it was a post which was made 2 days ago, a wild find. Now we hear about all these wild finds, but this truly is exceptional. Paul, welcome to Generation Skywalker.
Thank you. Pleasure. Pleased to be here.
Oh mate, it's delighted. I so want to hear this story. Before I go into it though, can you just describe yourself, prior to this find, describe yourself from a galaxy far, far away? How has Star Wars up until this point in your life affected you?
Well, I was born in 1980, so I had the true pleasure of being part of, Generation Skywalker from the very beginning, in that I had an older brother who was about 2 years older than me, and he had to jump on getting Star Wars toys as a kid. So even though I was only about, 3, maybe 4 when I saw Jedi, I was already being handed Star Wars stuff in my life. And I probably played with it right up through the end of the run, 87, when I was about 7 years old. And I took a little break there. And then I just one day realized how much I still loved it. And I started getting the toys back out and just displaying them in my bedroom. And I've been a collector ever since. Very few of my original toys made it through the melee of my childhood in one piece. So most of it's been purchased at comic shops and toy fairs, probably somewhere late 80s, early 90s. And I still have all those pieces that I've bought and collected. And, I treasure them. One thing that made it through my childhood was the pop-up lightsaber R2-D2, which I completely covet. And I'll never part with that item. So it's been a part of my whole life, Star Wars. And I probably took some breaks from collecting as I, was getting older. I got into cars, so I'm heavily into the Ford Mustang, and I spent a lot of money and a lot of time collecting those. But I've been buying stuff off of eBay as things progressed. Sold some of it, which I really regret. Some really nice pieces I let go of, and I think as the prices went up somewhere around the Force Awakens, I got a little like, oh, let me sell these and I'll buy them. I thought I was some sort of stock trader, just instead dealing with Star Wars toys instead of stocks, and I should never have sold any of it. But I've been more so of a collector lately. I would say buying some modern stuff. I don't buy a lot of modern stuff, but I really love the lightsaber hilts from Galaxy's Edge at Disney World. So I've probably gone there about 3 times a year since COVID let up here in the States. And I've got a pretty sweet collection of lightsabers, and
Nice.
never let go of them. I've never let go of vintage. Vintage has always been my number one love. But, sort of what led me to this wild find is I would say for at least 10 years, I've been scouring garage sales, yard sales, estate sales every Saturday, Sunday morning out here in New York, just looking for the stuff. And usually after a while, I got beat down and said, I'm not going to ask anymore because no one's got this. So if someone asks me, what are you looking for? I tell them, vintage Star Wars, video games, type of stuff that, guys like us and girls like us might be into. And usually it's, oh, my brother's got something, and I'll leave my phone number. I'll never hear back. But sort of, I literally dream about finding Star Wars toys, old stuff in either in shops or at garage sales, and it finally came to fruition with this one.
It certainly seems to be the case. Brilliant stuff. You could say then that you've been doing your time, and this is, you've paid your dues, and now eventually this wasn't just a lucky find. This is time and time of trying to do this and getting out there and just having a little wander around. So tell us about this find. How did this come about? And ultimately, what have you got? Because you shared 22 photographs, and I'm not going to steal your sandwiches. I'm going to let you explain what it is you found, buddy.
Yeah, so basically I'll go over what the find was real quick. So it included all of the first 12. Amazingly, the Luke, Leia, Chewie, and R2 are part of the early bird kit. So it's the early bird kit with the double telescoping Luke. The pegs are there for the stand. The shipper is there, the white cardboard box, the tray, all the bags, all the figures except for Luke are sealed bags. Luke was opened, but it doesn't look like the telescoping lightsaber was ever pulled out because that's still perfectly straight and intact and in the lightsaber. I couldn't be more over the moon about that figure. I've always wanted one. Been collecting for 30 years, and I saw one once. The crazy thing, I hate to get off topic, but I once saw an early bird kit at a swap meet. But this was before the days of the internet, and I had no idea what it was. They wanted $40 for it, and I did not have $40 because I was a kid. And
Yeah.
it has stayed with me that, oh my God, I had an early bird kit in my hand. I didn't know what it was because, I had the Steve Sansweet guide to collecting, the price guide book. And I don't think I had ever seen it mentioned in there. So, I probably asked my dad for the money, and he looked at me like I was crazy, so I passed on it. So all my life, since I found out what that was, I've been like, oh my God, I need an early bird kit. I passed on an early bird kit. I hate myself for this, but I finally have one. I have one now. And so I had the early bird kit. It came with the original envelope for the early bird kit, the wide one that you would buy in the store.
Yeah.
It's got the cardboard stand in there. Some of the paperwork, like the documents that came with that, are in there. Actually, it wasn't in the pictures because I put it away before I took the pictures. But the action stand came with the lot also. So they sent away for the action stand. And that is brand new. Stickers never applied. The shipper box was open, but the shipper box is still there. So I haven't even seen one as complete down to the shipper box unused as this before. The other 8 figures from the original 12 are all there on 12 backs. sort of a combination of 12-back A's and B's. The Stormtrooper is really the crowning piece of the lot because that's a skew footer, and it is suspiciously in good condition. I do not know how this thing has lived for 45 years, and it is so clean, Jez. I cannot describe to you how I don't have another figure in my collection on a card that is as clean as this. I am just, so ecstatic to have it. I can't believe I own this thing at this point.
Oh, brilliant.
I want to get it graded, but at the same point, I'm afraid to send it away and have it be out of my hands for any period of time. So I've ordered cases for all this stuff. The cases haven't even come in yet. But, I plan to case it away, and then, what do I do with it after that? I don't even know. But anyway, in the lot, on top of that, there was a couple Empire Strikes Back carded figures. I got a Yoda. I got Leia Bespin with the crew neck dress. There was a Bespin security guard. And there was a hammerhead on an Empire back. But somebody had peeled the card up and took the weapon out. I didn't even notice that, but no big deal. Yeah, so I got all those figures also. And then there was I didn't picture it, but got a land speeder in the original Star Wars box. It was open, but everything's in there. Stickers never applied. And that's the bulk of the lot. She had a lot of other Star Wars stuff that was in there, like books and this and that. But my brother, he's a big collector also. So I brought him along, and I sort of threw him a bone because he'll get a random wild find and hook me up. So I hooked him up and said, you can have your pick at whatever is not a toy. The toys are mine, but whatever's not a toy, you can have at. So he grabbed some non-toy stuff, but it was just the most amazing wild find.
Oh, mate, I'm absolutely speechless. It was brilliant. Did you say Hammerhead? Because I thought I saw a Han Hoth.
You're right. There is a Han Hoth. I could not remember the other figure off the top of my head. Right. But I didn't picture the Hammerhead because he was peeled up. So I was a little like, I just kind of stuffed him away and said, you know what, it's a pretty display piece, but but there is the Han Hoth on there. And I'm not a complete pro on the backs because I know there's like a 41 back, but they're all early ESB cards.
Yeah. Mate, they're brilliant. As you say, the Stormtrooper in particular, I know there's been a lot of interest with that, with people liking or loving the photographs on Facebook. The Stormtrooper one's super mint. What I liked about the others, though, is the collector, the person who initially put these together, didn't buy them on one day, I don't believe, because there's a bit of a variety of some stickers there. There's definitely a couple of different days worth of shopping for sure, I would say.
I definitely think so. I think, considering, they have different price tags on them. Some of them are unpunched, so you could tell she got them case fresh, right from, before they hit a peg. And then, there's some A's and some B's, so I imagine some time elapsed between buying those.
Yeah, this is outstanding. So what a find. The find of dreams. It's just brilliant. It's just so good. And in particular, for me as a collector and someone who's been doing this for quite a while, as well as all of our listeners, we're in a time at the moment of sort of economic doom and gloom globally, lots of problems, lots of woes. So to see something like this, someone, who's amongst the brotherhood, amongst the collectors, and be it boys, girls, whoever, to have a find like this, it just keeps the dream alive, and it's just absolutely brilliant. I'm delighted for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't tell you, it has brought my collecting sense and my drive to get out there and pound the pavement and ask back to life. After years of nothing, maybe finding the last wild find I had, honestly, was a box on the side of the road in the trash that somebody had a mixed match of random vintage toys in, and I noticed a Death Star trash compactor sticking out of the top. So I slammed on the brakes and grabbed that box as fast as humanly possible. And that was the last wild find I had. And I was like, people are just throwing this stuff out. They don't even know. Please, God in heaven, help.
So, how did you come about this? Can you tell us the story?
I love to tell this story because it's a story that I think, works out for everybody in the end. So as I mentioned, I've, been going to, I get up every morning, Saturday, Sunday, and I go to the garage sales, estate sales, yard sales, and I look and I ask. And, I use the apps on the cell phone to hunt down the yard sales, or if I see signs, I'll track them down. So there's no real magic or real, secret to how I find them. I'm just using public means to find these yard sales. And through doing this, I have started my, it's just a side note, I'm a big eBay person. So by looking for Star Wars, I noticed I was never finding Star Wars, but I was finding all sorts of other stuff that was selling cheap that I knew I could get more money for. So by looking for Star Wars has led me to start my own LLC, a small business of just e-commerce. So I have made so much money off of that by buying and selling stuff from yard sales while looking for Star Wars that this hobby has benefited my life in that sense, that it has given me so much more just by being out there. So I'm not just looking for Star Wars. I'm using this time to make more money, and I have used the money I spent on this lot I made from buying and selling stuff at yard sales. So the hobby really funded itself, is what it comes down to. So I stopped at a yard sale. The lady had a couple tables set up, and she asked me what I was looking for, and I told her I was looking for vintage Star Wars stuff. And she said, "Oh, I have a bunch of stuff from my mother's estate." She had collected in the early years, and she sort of described what she had. And she's described the early bird kit, and inside my head, my mind is reeling, thinking about what she's telling me. And she said she wasn't ready to sell it, but she did mention that sometimes her ex doesn't come through on child support, and she might need to one day. She said she had some glasses, like the Burger King glasses. So she brought those out and sold them to me for like $1 each. So I was like, oh my goodness, this lady, I feel bad, but she's selling me these at $1 each. Let's see what comes in the future. So we talked a while longer, and I left her with my phone number so that she can get in touch with me if she wanted to sell the stuff. She didn't bring it out. I had no idea what was there. She had it all tucked away. So fast forward only a few short months later, I get a text message, and she says it's her, and she's tight on money. It's Friday. It was literally last Friday. She texted me, said that her mortgage is due on Monday, and she just needs the cash. So I told her, okay, can you please send me pictures of what you have? So she says, sure. It takes a day to get the pictures, but she starts flooding me with just the random stuff that was there, no toys. And I'm like, I thought there was more. Then the toy pictures start coming in, and oh my God, like you saw on Facebook, I'm starting to see these early cards. I didn't know what the backs were. I didn't want to ask too many questions. And a picture of the early bird kit, a picture of the action stand. And my mind is, at this point, I'm like, okay, this good of stuff doesn't happen to me. This doesn't, I've searched for years. There's no way my first big come up is going to be a full run of first 12, potentially on 12 back cards. So I asked her, I tell her I'm interested, of course, and I ask her what she wants for all the toys and the stands. And she says she has to think about it. She'll get back to me. So we take a little while, and she's not getting back to me. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, she's looking everything up on eBay, and she's going to see these prices that people are asking on eBay. Now, do they get those prices? I don't know. But I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to afford this lot if she piecemeals this out off of eBay. So I asked her, can I just make an offer? And she said, sure. So I just threw a number on the table. I will say that, I don't want to say the number, but it's going to take care of her mortgage for at least a few months, and on top of other expenses. So I made a healthy offer. I did not walk away with this for like, $2,000. That was not the case at all. I didn't, this lady needed money. I made her an offer that makes sense. I could afford it. Like I said, I've saved up money from doing this hunting and picking and selling for so long that I really blew my whole account in one shot. I said, there's no way I'm letting this go. I'm gonna put a healthy offer on the table. I did it. She just said, okay, come on over. So we set up a time, and it was the next morning. I had to go to the bank and get it out. By the time I got in touch with her, the bank was closed. Da, da, da. But I show up to the house, and I brought my brother with me, and she had set up everything outside on tables. And I thought to myself for a minute, oh my God, this lady's set up all this stuff on a table, and anyone could have stopped by. But apparently she had just set it up for me. So I thought she was, because she had said she was going to have another yard sale that day, that I would come over during the yard sale. So I thought she had just set it up, and I was like, oh my God, nobody else came over here before 10:30 a.m. and saw all this and tried to beat me out. Or so it was all just for me. And, we spent an hour just chatting, and I assume she was really happy with me, because she basically told me half her life story, told me everything she's got going on, and I felt really good by the end, because I knew, she told me basically what she was going to be able to use the money for, and it seemed like a giant sigh of relief to her to have the cash. And I guess, this being part of the story was that, like I said, the toys, everything came from her mother's estate. So she was a little young when she saw Star Wars. She said that she saw the original movie in the theaters with her mother, and she just remembers seeing her mother's face light up when the opening scroll came up. So she had a lot of these memories with her mom, and this was like, as you could tell from the pictures, everything was well taken care of. So this is stuff her mother loved, and her sister wouldn't let her just have it. Her sister made her buy it out of the mother's estate when the mother passed. So this stuff has a lot of sentimental meaning, and
right,
I'm sure it was hard for her to let go of, but it felt like one of those TV shows, like American Pickers or something like that, when you see somebody let go of something and everyone's happy because the buyer's getting what they wanted, the seller's getting money that they could really freaking use. So, hearing her stories about her mom's attachment to these items, and, she was letting them go, but she was, she has to take care of her 2 children. So it was really a heartwarming thing. And then, my brother, he picked through the stuff and paid up for like some lunch boxes and some cards, and, she had like books and stickers and soap, all the random stuff that you see out there. Which, I gotta tell you, I really should have opened my eyes a little more, because I was just so focused on these toys, as you could imagine, that I didn't realize that, the value, honestly, of the lunch boxes were never used. Stickers are still on them. So it was just amazing. In the end, I had no idea what they were even worth, because I wasn't trolling eBay on every single item. I was just like, there's a small head Han Solo 12-pack B in front of me that is clean as can be. Oh my God, I don't have the money to afford this on eBay, but I can buy it right now, right here. Oh my God, there's a Jawa. Oh my God, there's a Tusken Raider. I was just so stunned by what I was looking at.
Wow. What a brilliant story. Really, really good. I'm just going to pause for a second.
Yeah.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now I've zoomed in on the lightsaber. What's going on there? Is that just tucked right in and just the tip sticking out?
It is actually the back of the lightsaber is extended past the opening, and it's kind of sliding up his arm a little bit.
Right, okay. Yeah, because all I saw was a tiny little thin piece and nothing else. I'm like, what on earth is going on there? Right. Okay.
Some people have asked if that could potentially be a DT. And if that was a DT, oh my, I tell you what, man, you've seen the pictures and the generation of this. Imagine that was like a vinyl cape Jawa and a DT Vader or a DT Obi-Wan. I would have felt bad not offering her a 5-digit number. I would have been like, oh, this lady could completely take care of her problems, but I need to have this item.
Mate, no, it's absolutely brilliant. Delighted for you. You've given us all a new hope. Entirely. You've given that lady a new hope, and us as listeners and collectors, You know, you are Generation Skywalker. You've done it. And yeah, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I never doubted you for a second. Wonderful.
Paul May, I am absolutely delighted for you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. It really has made my day to hear this story. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm honored to come on your show. This has been the first time I've ever on a podcast, so totally cool by me.
Man, you are more than welcome, and you'll have to come on again sometime. So yeah, you are Generation Skywalker, and well done. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Wow. So what an episode. What an interview. What a lucky man. A man who has clearly, worked for it and lived the dream. So yeah, well done. If you like this episode, continue to check us out on generationskywalker.com. Do a monthly vintage collecting episode called Those Old Fossils, but Generation Skywalker also cover all eras, all passions, all Star Wars. So we also do a monthly show dedicated to modern called The Modern Way, but we'll also cover TV shows, film anniversaries, trailer reactions. On our YouTube channel, Generation Skywalker, we've got some Skywalker Blasts, which are slightly shorter programs. We've got all of our main podcasts are enhanced on YouTube, and we also do unboxings as well. So a whole host of stuff. Check us out on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and a dedicated vintage collecting on Instagram, which is Gen_Skywalker_vintage. So all sorts of ways to get in touch with us. If you want to get involved, be sure to send us a voice message to generationskywalker@gmail.com, or send us a message on our Facebook group, We Are Generation Skywalker. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. May the Force be with you.